Craig Overton cruelly fell just 1 run short of his maiden first-class 100, but his innings was the one which has given his Somerset side a decent chance of beating Lancashire on the last day in Taunton, a crucial day for both teams. With captain Marcus Trescothick leading from the front with a magnificent 100, Somerset went into the penultimate day on 193 for 2, 73 runs behind their opponents. The plan would have been to bat Lancashire out of the game, and Alvaro Peterson, who resumed his innings on 57, started well enough to try to do that. It took an odd dismissal to send him on his way, the ball jumping off the pitch before it looped off the bat to Josh Butler behind the stumps. Peterson was on his way for 73. It was the start of a Lancashire fight back. James Hildreth had made 10 when he was legged before to Tom Smith. And then, after batting for 98 overs, Trescothick, who started the day on 107, was out for 128, Smith striking for the 42nd time this season as the batsman sliced a drive to Stephen Croft. That left Somerset still 15 runs behind on 251 for 5, and their plans were being scuppered a tad. But Peter Trigo soon had his side into the lead with only half of their batsmen out. He gave Simon Kerrigan some treatment, this a massive shot that carried the distance and a bit more. 37 runs were added with Craig Kieswetter, only for both batsmen to fall in successive overs. On 15, Kieswetter was LBW to Wayne White, while Trigo fell for 25 when he went in the same manner to Kerrigan. Lancashire were keeping themselves in contention. They were then held up for a while either side of lunch as Lewis Gregory joined Overton, who was dropped at slip on 5. Gregory drove Kerrigan for a 6 to bring up the 300 for a third and final batting bonus point. Butler would have loved to have made the headlines back at Taunton, and he might still do so, but he missed a stumping chance to give Gregory a life. Gregory tried to make the most of that as he struck a runnable 26, taking the total to 327 and the lead to 61. He was attacking everything, but that brought about his downfall as he pulled a short delivery from White to Smith. Lancashire now needed to finish the innings off to keep the deficit manageable. Instead, the opposite happened as Overton and Alphonso Thomas put on a record-breaking 9th wicket partnership for the county against Lancashire. Initially, it looked as if Overton was just going to have a hit to see what could be added at the end of the innings. Twice in the same Kerrigan over, he used his sizable frame to help balls over the rope for sixes. He's already shown with an 86 against Sussex a couple of weeks ago that he knows one end of a bat from the other. The visitors just seemed to be getting a little rattled as this partnership began to grow. This was not Kerrigan at his best. The 4 pulled by Overton, taking him to his second 50 of the season off 53 balls. That was his 7th 4 to go with his pair of maximums. On 62, he was dropped for a second time. Kyle Hogg with a rather half-hearted attempt at a return catch. Not that it was at all easy. Overton made him pay for that as he continued to play some excellent shots. Not bad for a man who was considered just a bowler by many before this season got underway. No one can say that about him now. Thomas was there for him all the way, backing up his efforts with a fine knock of his own. Thomas is a man who loves a fight and is knocking a few opponents onto the ropes at the moment with both bat and ball. This was his best knock of the summer. Overton went to tea on 84. He soon passed his previous best and then got to 99. The field was brought in, Kerrigan tossed one up and the batsman tried to go big. The edge that followed was brilliantly held by Paul Horton and Overton had to drag himself off. What made it slightly worse was that 2 balls later, new man George Dockrell received a similar delivery, but he sent it down the ground for a 6. Overton had added 140 runs for the 9th wicket with Thomas to put his side in control of this contest, and Thomas was then able to get to his first 50 of the season, one which was made off 114 balls, this being just his 3rd boundary, as his main role had been to back up Overton. This was an equally valuable knock from the 37-year-old. His innings ended on 54 as Somerset were at last dismissed for 484 for a very handsome lead of 218 runs. Alex Davis and Horton now had 17 overs to ensure that this wasn't totally the home side's day. Horton, who'd batted so masterfully in the first innings, ducked into an early bouncer from Thomas. It did not look pleasant, and he had to retire hurt in the third over on 1. Hopefully he will be able to bat again after a good night's rest, something that will be needed by all of the Lancashire players ahead of a tough day. It would have been tougher had Usman Khawaja not been dropped off Thomas, whose reaction said it all. As it was, Khawaja was able to make 14 before stumps were drawn, while Davis batted well again at the top of the order in getting to 38. He wasn't afraid to hit the ball in the air from time to time, but he also defended well enough to take his side to the close with no wickets down and 59 runs on the board. So we have a big final day ahead of us. Lancashire still trail by 159 runs, and the best they can hope for is a draw. Somerset know that a win will keep them very much in the title hunt. Indeed, they would remain as one of the favourites if they can finish off Overton's excellent work.